The One Who Got Away. Written by Jay the Brony. Wherever a pony went in the great bustling metropolis of Manhattan, they were sure to be busy and crowded. And so was here, as the diner on the frantic corner street was experiencing his usual fare, with mares and stallions alike packing the booths and bar. Orders were up, and many a drink and lunch was enjoyed there. But, in one booth in particular, there seemed to be a pony with an almost bored look upon her face. Her bright pink fur and darker pink mane made her stand out more like a sore thumb here, but, aside from that, there didn't seem to be anything really that noteworthy of her. One of the waitresses, as per usual, trotted up to her, raising an eyebrow at the mare before finally speaking up. "Alright, hun, what can I get you?" While at first deep in thought, the pink mare soon realized she was being spoken to. Immediately, her expression became wide-eyed, as she scooted back into her chair, as if terrified by the new arrival. "I'm not running from any pony!" Naturally, such remarks earned her the concerned looks of every pony there, none more so than the waitress herself. As the pink mare realized how this must have looked, she let out a nervous chuckle, swallowing briefly, before finally speaking up. "Oh, right. I'll just have a milkshake, please." The waitress remained still for a few seconds, giving her an odd look, before, at last, making her way back over to the bar. As for the other mare, she let out a sigh of relief, wiping some sweat off her brow. "Phew! Almost lost my cool there." An almost uncomfortable silence passed over the place for a few minutes, during which time, the pink mare seemed to be rather impatient about something. But, in the end, the waitress returned, and the mare smiled as she looked upon her milkshake. "Ah, thank you." After nodding to that, the waitress glanced at her in the same manner one would an angry dog, rather rarely. "So, you got a name, hon?" The other mare opened her mouth, only to shut it tightly as she started to get nervous. "Oh, my name? Right, my name. It's, Pinkie." The waitress raised an eyebrow. "Pinkie, eh?" "Pinkie." Then, she started nodding frantically, bearing a massive, not to mention forced, grin. It didn't take long for the waitress to get the message, and she shrugged her shoulders before finally moving off, sighing yet again. Pinkie stared at her milkshake. "Pinkie? Seriously? I couldn't think of anything better than that?" After a while, she let out a calming exhale. "Okay, it's alright. Nothing to worry about. Remember, no pony knows you're here. You've run far enough. They may have gotten the others, but not you." Briefly, she let out a giggle. "I mean, what are the chances you'll meet the other one in a place like this?" The universe, apparently, having heard her, decided then and there to answer, for the doors of the diner swung open, and through it, Pinkie heard a fast-talking stallion enter. "Thanks for taking part in this interview, Miss Pinkie." Unfortunately, Pinkie was slurping her milkshake at the time, and, as was a standard in a moment like this, spurted it out. She spun around, and saw, just as she had expected, that Pinkie by herself was indeed here. Before she was spotted, she ducked down into her chair, wrapping her hooves over the top of her head. "Ah, she's here! I knew it was only a matter of time. She's come to finish the job. And me." Slowly, she peeked over her shoulder, trying to see where her doppelganger was. But, to her surprise, she found out that she had come not to find her, but rather to sit next to the stallion she heard before. Naturally, Pinkie chose to stay quiet, and as she did so, she looked around, hoping to find some kind of disguise for herself. Sadly, the best she could do was an old fedora hat that had been left here by a previous customer. But, It would do for now, and Pinkie grabbed it, placing it squarely on her head and praying that no pony noticed her. Okay, Pinkie, calm down. Just play it cool. Apparently, according to Pinkie, playing it cool consisted mostly of her looking shifty-eyed as ponies of all walks of life passed her by, earning their attention immediately. Thankfully, Pinkie herself hadn't noticed, and was instead focused on that interview of hers. There was stuff about some clothes store, this unicorn friend of hers, Rarity apparently. Pinkie remembered that name, but, like everything else from that day, she tried not to think about it. Instead, she just tried to stay quiet as possible, through all the talk, through all the eating of impossible large piles of pancakes, until, at long last, she groaned with annoyance. Ugh! I can't take it anymore! Curse my short attention span! Looking over her shoulder again, she waited to see Pinkie was getting deep into her interview, just enough so as not to notice the stuff around her. Thankfully, the moment came faster than anticipated, and as the original kept her focused on the stallion, Pinkie slowly started slipping out of her booth. She tried to move gradually as possible, which, naturally, made her look even more suspicious as she attempted to head straight for the door. But nothing is ever that simple, and it was here that Pinkie chose to get up, causing her to, what else, collide with Pinkie. When the dust settled from this, Pinkie realized what had happened, and, in a panicked manner, tried to force her hat down, hoping to keep her face hidden. As for Pinkie, as soon as she saw who she bumped into, she narrowed her eyes. Hey, wait a minute. Pinkie clenched her teeth with nervousness, remaining silent as Pinkie continued. There's something about you. Sweat was rolling off Pinkie now, but she kept her mouth shut, just in time to hear Pinkie continue yet again. That is one great hat! A pause. What? Pinkie asked. Pinkie smiled. Yeah, I've been looking for a good hat like that for ages. Where did you get it? Racking her brain as best as she could, Pinkie simply blurted out the first answer she came up with. It's from, Stinky Bottom's Discount Hat Emporium? Hearing that, Pinkie let out a loud gasp. Wow! My friend, Applejack, she's been looking for that place all day! Could you tell me where it is? While, at first, cursing her predicament, Pinkie then smirked under her hat, as she had yet another idea. Yep, it's right across the water, right at the base of that big Manhattan statue. Pinkie squealed with delight, rushing right for the door, stopping just long enough to smile at her new friend before she left. Thank you, whoever you are. And with that, she was off, darting down the streets as fast as her hooves could carry her. Letting out a sigh, Pinkie finally took off her hat, turning to see the waitress from earlier. As the clone opened her mouth, the other mare stopped her. Yeah, I get it. I didn't see nothing, right? Pinkie considered that, before nodding grimly, narrowing her eyes slightly, as she backed out of the diner. And don't you forget it. The end. Hello, everypony. Snogwritts here. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. As always, I definitely enjoyed reading this fic to all of you. Alrighty then, let's start reviewing this fic. Okay, so here's this. In particular, I actually find this fic well written when it comes to expressing characters' emotions, but however, it could use some more details in some areas, especially due to the length of this fic. That's the point. The length was short, yes, but I can really see the events going a little further. Thus, it would create a better story, and it would reveal the characters a little more. The vocabulary was okay, but really, that's all I could say. There's not much to this fic I could really talk about, but I think overall, this fic was pretty decent, but I think it could be a lot better with more edits. Alright, let's wrap this video up. So, for any of you catching up with the Cold Devil vs. Ponyville series, Chapter 1 has been released on fanfiction. So, you guys can read it before the dub releases, which I don't know when it will. I am currently still working on it. Aside from that, constructive criticism is always welcomed. Alrighty then, today marks the 4th month of the channel, and as of this video, I have 71 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for your support. The past 4 months have been great. Really, I can't thank you all enough. We are 29 subscribers away from 100, and that is just amazing. As always, I definitely enjoyed reading all these fics to all of you, and I'm definitely going to continue making more content for all of you to enjoy. Alrighty then. As always, thank you for listening, fellow viewer, and if you liked the video, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I upload weekly fanfic reads every Saturday on a variety of genres. Alright, that's it for me. This is Snogwritts, signing out.